Well, we have Amber and Eric DePanger here. I learned to say their name with Sightglass Photography out of Portland. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Great.
So this is exciting. Get to know your wedding pro. We're always trying to add new voices. I've had a lot of repeats here, so we're kind of getting through the holidays, which I understand. Now we're getting some new blood in here. You guys are married, right? Wedding photography couple, and then you guys actually met as wedding vendors, right?
Correct.
So talk me through a little bit about what you guys do first off with your photography company, and then we'll get into kind of how you met and everything else.
We do primarily weddings, but we do some corporate, although that obviously tanked during COVID. And then just some family, other sessions, but also it really kind of just switched to just weddings because of COVID. Stuff wasn't really worth doing with being in a more intimate setting and all of that.
Yeah, we've always kind of focused more on smaller weddings, like under 100 guest count. So making the pivot over to micro weddings and elopement wasn't too hard for us because that's kind of where my heart's always been. We do have larger weddings once in a while, but I love weddings that are, anywhere between 40 and 80 people. So the pivot wasn't too hard for us because we kind of had some stuff already in place.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your guys' website, right? Fun, colorful, right? Vibrant. Talk me through kind of your style. What do you guys try to focus on?
Kind of like a photojournalistic approach with a little bit of fine art. Like Eric really loves to do those creative, art, kind of artsy shots with lights and setting up a shot. And I am all about just in the moment, getting those moments where people can look back and realize that they were part of their day because they go so fast. I want to be a fly on the wall so they can see what everybody else saw, why they were busy having fun.
Yeah, just trying to keep it transparent, basically, our goal.
It's hard. You get a lot of, and even with video, I get a lot of questions with consults well, how much of this, are we posing? Are we staging? Is it documentary? And it's, there's never a right or wrong style, right? It just depends on what. But to me, it's always, like you said, photojournalistic, letting them kind of experience their wedding day, right? But then also capturing it as beautifully as you can, kind of while it's happening, right?
Yeah, for sure. We want to give them a slight bit of guidance because usually they haven't done it, or if they've done it maybe once, maybe twice. But they don't know what they're doing. So our job is to kind of guide them. We kind of slightly will put them in position, but then be okay, say something funny, do something cute. What do you guys like? We get to vibe who they are. And sometimes some of our favorite creative shots are all just done on the fly, just vibing who they are.
So I know that you guys have met, right? Got married, combined to do photography. Who was doing photography longer before you guys met?
Me. I started doing photography in high school back in the day. And then I went to college, graduated, 2009, everybody lost their jobs. I'm what do I want to do with my life? And I was you know what? I have absolutely nothing to lose. I'm broke. I cannot find a job. And I just slowly started doing photography. I got a part-time job, need to pay the bills too, and worked my way up. I threw an ad on Craigslist and was just going to see what I can do. I offered to do a couple weddings for free just to get more experience, which it helped because my mom was an officiant. So back in the 2000s, she was a Craigslist officiant. So she's done so many crazy weddings. I used to just tag along with her, and I kind of just you know what, I'm going to go for it. I got nothing to lose. And slowly but surely started building, some people jump into it and they have an established full business in a year or two. It took me several years because I was, also had my own life to deal with and kind of figuring out who I am, build experience and get to know people. I started networking, really learning the ropes of the industry and all roles in it, which I'm thankful for my experience because I feel I'm kind of an expert now. We ran pre-COVID a wedding networking, Northwest Wed Pros networking group. I also was a producer with Classic Affair, a small boutique bridal show for a few years. So just really working from the ground up helped me experience all parts of the industry.
Eric, what was your background?
I kind of grew up with photography, here and there. My sister and I would kind of get each other into it and then each other back out of it. It was, and kind of just go through phases. And it was around like 2013 or so when I'm like, I want to take this more, like, I want to actually do this professionally. 2014 was my first year actually shooting weddings. I kind of honestly bumbled around for a while, not really knowing like kind of where to grow and how to grow. And it was a little bit into where they started like, okay, I need to like find other people and talk to them. It was only like a month or two before I met Amber. And then really honestly, she's helped me so much with just actually understanding the industry as a whole, and the other aspects to photography than just shooting.
So you're saying you married into experience.
It helped a lot.
Well, it's helpful to have, I think, two minds going into this, right? I mean, whether it's, know, romantically or professionally, whatever, having, because we as people are so, right, indisposed to the certain skill set that we have, right? And we talk a lot on the podcast, being a good, like, florist, for example, and being creative doesn't mean that you can be a good bookkeeper, right? Or, being able to market doesn't necessarily mean. And so, I've always said I'm a far better marketer than I am videographer, right? But I just happen to kind of lift the skills up as we go.
It's so true amongst photographers, and like you said, really any wedding professional, it attracts creatives and romantics when in general, that's generally mutually exclusive from being good at business. And that actually what keeps you going as a company and not just liking doing what you're doing.
I think what works best for us is I love business. I love all things business. People tell me, oh, you're an artist, all this. I've never thought of as an artist. I picked up a camera because I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can make money off this. I can hustle. So for me, I love the business. I work on the marketing, the website, the networking, and he's like a true artist, like should be submitting to competition level. Me, I'm like, I love the business. I love the people. I understand that wedding photography, you can deliver a mediocre product, but if you deliver an amazing experience, that's what the couple's going to remember. But if you deliver a shit experience and like beautiful, amazing photos, they're still going to remember the bad experience. So I kind of like, between the two of us, I bring that to the table. It's like, it's about, we got to make sure they're having a good time, a good experience, take care of them, good customer service. We want to deliver obviously great photos, but all those other things matter just as much, I think, if not more. And I don't know if everybody feels that in the industry, but I feel like I really want to pour a lot into the customer experience. But also, great photos do matter.
And because of that, Amber's kind of like the front man in a lot of ways. So with like formals, for example, like Amber's up there moving people around, making sure they don't have like hair ties or anything on them, while I'm focusing on getting lighting and composition all together. And just also there's no back and forth. Like she can just step away and I can just shoot and then rinse and repeat. And that also applies to like couple photos. Amber gets more like organic, not all the time, but some of the time, more just kind of candid couple photos where I am taking some time setting up a shot, moving lights around, all of that. And I really wouldn't be able to do that if it weren't for somebody like Amber to just kind of not just distract them. And as far as from my perspective, yes, but obviously she's actually doing something productive. So it's not like she's just there trying to keep their attention.
It does help that I have like a decade of manager experience, and I am all about get in, get out, get on to the next thing. Like, their time matters. Every day, every moment of their wedding matters. We can't take them for 2 hours to go do photos. These people paid to be around these other people. We need to get great photos in an efficient time. And so my job, I also like to if they don't have a planner, I want to help them with a timeline so we can get these things, get all the vendors what they need, especially if there's video or to make sure hair and makeup, everybody can do their job best. It's kind of great that I have that experience, which I can help make it go smooth and quick.
Well, and we get clients that are not honestly super into themselves. So there's not they don't want 2 hours worth of couple photos. They want 10 to 30 minutes. And then that kind of just goes into every aspect of their wedding. And so there's just, our timelines look different than I feel like a lot of others.
Okay, sorry.
So yeah, like even like getting ready, like we rarely do more than like half an hour of getting ready. A lot of time it's kind of more by happenstance than anything.
Yeah. We do have some couples who love couple photos, and they'll like, but we're like, okay, I want an hour of couple photos, but we make their timeline to make that happen. So it's all about like talking with them and getting all of that known in advance, because you don't want to, it's about setting expectations. If you show up and make, oh, I'm just going to do 10 minutes, couple photos, and they want an hour, it doesn't work. But if, you're like, I'm going to do an hour, couple photos, and they want 10, like it's all about communication in this job.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like we really try, and we're more so because you're just like, I feel like just like an encyclopedia when it comes to like timings of everything. Yeah, we'll go through a timeline. One, we get how long we actually need. Like we can quantify how long we need to actually be there. It's not like, well, we're trying to sell you on 8 or 6 or whatever. Like we're actually showing you why you need 6. And then, so that gives them peace of mind while also like us knowing what we're doing. And then even if the timeline changes, we at least started with something.
Yeah.
Going forward and then going forward.
It's funny. It's interesting because, we work with a lot of different photographers, right? And it's a lot of different styles. And I'm, very hands off, right? We're just like, kind of let them take. And it is interesting to me, different photographers and them being able to read the room or not, or like read the couple, like, I'm like, do you not get that they're really done taking photos right now? Like, we'll stand there, right? I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna pull anyone away, but I'm like, I think they've been really over this for about 20 minutes, and we're still down here,
Oh yeah, I the like tone deafness that I've seen with other vendors. Granted, like I don't see other photographers working very much. We do a second shoot on occasion, and that is insightful in ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's mainly like DJs or something. They're just like, right, where are you getting this? Like, they don't want to do this. They're visibly cringing that you're doing this, and you're just like continuing to go down this path.
I've seen all vendors do that. Like, I think people forget that we, at the end of the day, are hired help. And our job is to make those couples' dreams true. Our egos don't matter. What we want out of it doesn't matter. It's what they want. And I've seen all vendors kind of like forget that.
Oh, definitely all vendors.
And
like DJs, and then also like venue owners, especially if there's not a coordinator around, like they tend to be the most like in their business, like fingers in the pie.
Yeah, I think that we just forget. Like sometimes when we you're doing the same thing weekend over and over and over, you stick to a formula, and so you forget. And so it's nothing bad against them. I think we all just have to remember that once in a while, that like we are here for the couple. And like, we gotta like, sometimes like we shoot amazing weddings and the couple will be, please don't share those on social media, or, they're not like the best social media type images. And that's fine. We're not shooting for our portfolio. Like we've got enough photos. We know how to get photos. Worst case, we could do a model call. So we don't shoot for our portfolio. We shoot for our clients, because I'm hands down first a business person. You pay me money, I make you happy. You leave great review, I get more money. Like if I want to do creative stuff or have parameters, I put a casting call out for styled shoot. And when we do style shoots, we only like to work with real couples. We usually post things like, hey, did you not get the photos that you could, at the time for some reason, bring your dress, or let's find your dress. And so we're helping people, and we get to like kind of practice and do what we want for our portfolio.
And we obviously still generate portfolio images.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a priority in the sense that we want to give them those portfolio images, and not that it is for a portfolio. It's just kind of getting
it just happens. Yeah.
No, I totally know what you mean. And it's something that comes with age in the industry, right? And doing it that way too. I mean, I remember we had a wedding here at we have a golf course, Newcastle golf course, really pretty, and it's got the sunset and everything. And it was one of those things, like it was a gorgeous sunset, they're over it, right? They don't want to do it. The planner's kind of like, not going to make them go do anything. And the photographer, I'm like, I really think we should go outside, and so I go over there, I talk to them, and, they finally go outside, and they're really not happy about it, right? They didn't want to go do it. They want to be with their friends. I'm like, man, I totally like, I didn't listen to my, I didn't listen to my own, what I always say, right? Is don't get caught up in like, well, I need this one shot for my website, or I need to worry about this. It's respecting kind of their wishes. It's hard because you want to go in and you want to get, and like you said, not that you don't generate those portfolio pieces regardless, right? I mean, obviously you're good at what you guys do in that, but it's that weird balance. And yeah, I work with some photographers. I'm just like, we're still out here. Like we're still doing. So no, I think that's good feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've learned that. I think it's just doing so many different weddings. I've subcontracted for companies. I've subcontracted for other photographers. So I've shot like the backyard. I've literally shot a shotgun wedding where they brought shotguns all the way to like a high-end venue. And I've seen everything in between. I feel like I mean, I probably haven't shot like $1 million wedding, like the stuff you see. Haven't shot anything like that. And I don't know if I want to, unless the couple was super chill and down to earth. At the end of the day, I don't care how much money you put into your day. I don't care what your decor looks like. I just care that you're good people. Or I guess we just care. Sorry, I'm so bad. I'm like,
No.
We care. We just want like amazing clients. We have our rates on our website. We work with people. They're like, we're on a budget. We can't but we really want to work with you. So we're just going to do less time. And then like we work on a timeline to get what they need. They're like, we're willing to give up the getting ready photos or 2 hours of dancing because we really want to work with you. And so I think that's important to kind of work with being able to work. Yes, we have our prices, but being able to work with all budgets and all weddings. Like we don't discriminate against like anybody. We love all people, all couples, and we just love seeing people happy.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely like with decor, I feel like that's kind of the biggest thing. Not that you need a lot of it, but I feel like a lot of in more budget weddings, they try and sprinkle that little bit of money amongst many different things, and thus like nothing looks good. That like we're both like firm believers in just like putting it into a few things. More is less.
You mean less is more?
Less is more. Yeah.
More is less.
That's funny.
That's a quote. This is a video. Now I have it as like I'm going to quote you. More is less.
More is less. More is less. No, but it's weird too because we're in that weird price range too, where sometimes we're the more expensive thing that they have brought in, right? Which is odd because we're not that, but most of the time it's more in the middle there. But it does place that value where they're saying like we really care about our photos, right? Like we really want that to capture, versus food or chairs or some of these other things. I feel like sometimes money gets wasted on. I'm like, no, like please, like invest in your photography, invest in the thing that's going to capture all of those things. Yeah. Anything else you do spend money on, the photography is going to capture that.
I feel like you need to spend a good amount of money on food because food poisoning is not fun. Like you need to like balance that. Like food safety, super. We've been to some weddings where like we're just not even going to eat. We look at the food; it's been sitting out. Like the cheese is melting, it's in the hot sun, or the food isn't. It's not at temp. And I'm just like, no, I'm gonna. We always bring granola bars because I'm like, no, I'm not going to be sick today.
I've never gotten sick, but yes, I've definitely seen like Amber some poor business practices and food handling practices.
Yeah, I feel like people need to like really think of like that's what's important because you don't want your guests to get sick. So like, I think investing a little money and a good setup for catering to like keep the food at proper safety temps is important. But like, yeah, everything, like spend what you value, but like value the health and safety of your friends and family.
That's awesome. So you guys met, we never got the whole story. You guys met at a wedding networking event, right? Talk me through that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The day of, I don't know, like how much detail I want to jump into there, but like, yeah, we just, they're not around in any capacity.
No.
Right? So Wedding Network USA, they were more or less regional, but also
actually they had like 6 or 7 chapters.
Networking group that I had been going to for a while, and Amber had been going to for a while.
No, actually, it was like my second or third time.
Wow.
Okay. And yeah, we just met at 1 a.m. It was because there was snow. They've done during that time. In a given month, they did a morning meeting and then an evening meeting. And And because the first one was canceled, they did their morning meeting and their evening meeting on the same day. So we met that morning, really hit it off. We both had errands to do and stuff during the day, and then came back and talked more that evening. And then kind of just
became friends,
yes,
and
friends
kind of snowballed from there. Like, I actually only went to the morning meeting. I am not a morning person. So I only went to, it was hard. I was like 8 a.m. and I had to drive like an hour to get there. And I actually only went because it was about bridal shows. And at the time I was a bridal show producer for a boutique bridal show. I was like, I got some booths I need to sell. I'll get out of bed to go network to like maybe get some last minute. I wasn't there. I was there to like sell myself. I wasn't there to like find love. Instead, I found love. No. Yeah, like it was really crazy. I was talking to another vendor and he was just standing there and I was like, oh gosh, another photographer. Like, as a photographer, I know there are too many of us. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm bridal show producer hat mode there. And I'm like, and he's just standing over. I was like, I don't really want to deal with another photographer right now. Oh gosh, he's probably got an ego. Like, I can't handle this. I haven't had enough coffee. But he like shook my hand, introduced himself, and I clicked like right away. And honestly, there was a couple weeks we were friends. And then we basically just started dating, fell fast and hard over each other. Just were inseparable after probably 3 or 4 weeks of meeting, completely inseparable. Like, I met his family, he met my family, best friends, basically moved in together pretty quick, had our own businesses for that year. And then the next year we decided to combine our businesses even before we were married. And our friend who's also a photographer made a joke. Once you combine businesses, you're basically married.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we just rocked it out from there, and then ended up getting married in 2018. Yeah, I think 2018. That sounds about right. We were going to do a whole big wedding, and we did a micro wedding. We only told like 30 people, planned it in like a day, did it 3 weeks later, December 28th-ish or 9th, because see, I'm bad at dates when it comes to our own stuff. End of December, for the life of me, I can remember everything. Yeah. I'm like, our anniversary is at the end of December, because I always get the day wrong. His mom got the day, like all it's like a running family joke now.
Well, and it's even more funny because for clients, like Amber will remember the date and I'll remember them and I'll remember their names.
Yeah.
And so like, we're just like talking two different languages when we're talking about like a client that
I can remember everything that we have a conversation with a client. Like, I could have an hour conversation and remember everything. And names. I am horrible at names. Yeah. So that's the story of us. That's the story of how a wedding industry romance.
It's good. I like that. You don't get that too often. Especially, two photographers, right? Competing interests, but then you come together and the two is stronger than the, 1 + 1 = 4 or whatever, it's stronger than you were separately.
Definitely.
For sure. We have opposite strengths that really like come together and make a great team.
Yeah. Our skill sets, I feel like, couldn't really like interlock better than they do. I feel like there's pretty much every base that we're covering.
Do you feel like, and I'm always curious because, I was doing weddings with my now wife, and then we got married. And I feel like I am a lot better of a wedding vendor now, having kind of gone through the process of what it's like to plan, big or small, plan the wedding and kind of go through all that. Do you guys feel that way?
I mean, I kind of felt like I knew because we have really good friends in the industry in all different parts, like my best friend's a florist, the decor rental. So like, I know kind of like everything that they go through. I've helped friends with their weddings. For us, we did something really unique that it isn't like typical. So sometimes I can tell people, the best advice I tell people is like, pick what it matters to you the most and invest in that. Like, we probably spent $1,000 on our wedding and half of that was a photographer. We got it for an hour. We had a friend that come out of retirement because we didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings because we have lots of photographer friends. And we were like, it's not like, we're not going to get amazing romantic photos, in the beautiful outside because it's December. We knew that. We had great expectations, but it actually turned out great. We did a couple of photos outside, and our local dive bar, we went in there and they did photos like with a pinball machine. Like, it's actually, look back, it's everything that we would want. That's us. Everyone who went to the wedding was like, that's 100% you guys. I guess that's the best advice I can give people is pick what matters to you and do the experience you want. We did consider our family and friends, both of our parents, I mean, they're older. They don't want an all day 8-hour thing. We did it in about 2 hours, and then we did an after party at a karaoke bar. They didn't obviously want to go. Like, they're older. That's not their vibe, but they got to be what they wanted to do. And then we got to go out with friends, and there was like no obligation. So some friends went, some didn't. And so it was really, we did take our community of people we value and put, what would they want? But we did also think about ourselves first. I mean, his mom's like, do not jump on a plane and go to Vegas. So I did. He hates Vegas. I love Vegas. So it worked out because I was like, let's go get married by Elvis. Like, I actually want to do that for like a 5-year anniversary thing as a joke. But I do think people need to just follow their hearts and kind of give a little bit of care to like what your personal close friends and family want. But at the end of the day, remember, it's about you, and they truly love you. They're going to respect your wishes.
And throw out the rule book.
Yeah. Throw out the rule book, because that's what we...
Right. There's so many like, I guess I say that because there's so many like obligations, predisposition to things. So there's because like tradition and whatnot, and just, you don't need to do any of that. Do what you want to do.
I tell people, I don't know what I tell people. I already forgot what I told people. I don't know what I tell them. I had a whole line there, and now it's gone.
Well, it's weird. We talk about it a lot on here, and we did kind of during the COVID. Well, not we're still in, but when it was really heavy COVID times, we did a lot of wedding planning podcasts talking about this, about like balancing that, what your family wants and what you want, and what maybe your friends did or your sister or your brother did. Or, it's hard. It's hard to plan a wedding. It's hard to deal with all those outside influences. And so I hope, if anything, where we couldn't do anything for a long time, now that we can do stuff again, that people are choosing to do what they want to do, right? And spending their time in that way.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the most important thing, is like, at the end of the day, you're going to look back, it's your day. Your parents, your grandparents, they had their day. And they did. I mean, hopefully, maybe not. I don't know. I shouldn't. Maybe they had their day. They could have had their day. They can still have their day, It's just being true to what you want. Yeah, obviously you want to respect your family, especially the paying for it. That's when things get weird, is when money comes into play. I read a lot of like wedding planning on Reddit, and a lot of people are like, I feel entitled because my parents gave me money. His parents ended up giving, it was actually really funny. His dad gave us a check as a wedding gift. And I was like, we're just going to do tacos. We're just going to be 2 hours in our community room, and it's going to be super chill. And he's like, hands us a check. And he's like, does this change anything? I was like, no. And he's like, perfect. Like, I love that his parents, and my mom too. Well, my mom, that's a whole thing. But my mom wanted to be more hands-on. I was like, you are just my parent. You don't need to, because she was an officiant and all this. We had his best friend officiate. So I was a little hurt, but I was like, I want you to just relax and be a guest. I want you to have a guest experience. So I had her best interests at heart. So I don't feel bad about that. But yeah. So it was like cool. I think it was just like, we stuck to what we wanted. I don't regret anything. We were going to do a whole big wedding. And then I was just like, you know what? I just want to get this done and over with. I'm not a patient person. So that's the other problem. I am not one that's like, let's plan a vacation for a year from now. I'm like, so a couple of years ago, before COVID, I was like, WPPI is in like 10 days. You want to just drive down to Vegas and go? Like, that's just who I am. So like the idea of planning something, it causes me anxiety. And I think that's why we actually attract a lot of clients that book us last minute. Like, we attract those people that are like, yeah, so I'm getting married in 3 months. I'm like, you have the date open? I'm like, yeah. Like, most people are just, friends of ours are like shocked. Like, you guys get so many last minute people. And I'm like, I think they're like, okay, today I'm going to plan this or do this. And then they just go for it. They're not like waiting years. They're just like, okay, let's do it. Mind you, we do have a couple clients we have one client that's been rolling over since 2020. And I hope this year we get to have their wedding, but it's a safety thing. So that makes sense.
I bet the decision to not have your mom officiate went over totally fine, and there was no issues at all, right?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, his best friend officiated. Okay, that's some other advice I need to tell people. Do a rehearsal. So we did no rehearsal. Like, this is just who we are. We did no rehearsal. We had nothing written out. We just went up there and winged the whole wedding. And we were up there for like maybe 2 minutes, the ceremony. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, I actually posted a few videos on TikTok about it. And that's like, it's great because it went our actual wedding, like it went viral and it brought out a lot of trolls. We're just laughing. Like, I'm in a place in my life. I'm 37. I'm like, I don't care what kids on the internet think about me. So that's the thing I do tell clients. It's like, just remember, if like people are recording or posting, like people, if it goes viral, you will get bullied. So like, remember that
What
when you post things to social media.
What happened?
So we posted our wedding intro, which was 100% non-traditional. No, it was because I posted a couple things. The first thing that went viral on TikTok, I just posted it one night. It was like, wedding planning advice. If you have a friend or a community room in an apartment, you can rent it for $75. And that's what we did. And we lived in a nice Portland, kind of like the whole like modern. It was actually, I thought it was really nice. I had the furniture included. Everything was included. So I posted that on TikTok. And it was
the newer apartment.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I think
it's just their community room.
Yeah. I posted like, and I was like, I think it was just like our kiss and us walking off or something with that tip. And it was, we high-fived or something ridiculous.
We both just like walk in. We're not.
No, that was the second one that went viral. So the first one, so I posted that tip and people were just and that video got like 2.1 million views. The comment section is people are out there trolls, but it also taught me how TikTok works, and people are just mean. And so I can kind of give that information to clients like, hey, like, they're like, oh, I'm thinking of posting on TikTok. And be like, just remember, you're going to get both sides. Not everyone is nice. Are you in a mental place you can handle that? Not like, maybe wait till you are. People.
That applies to any aspect of social media. Like especially with like TikTok's more geared towards conflict. So feed the trolls, basically.
Feed the trolls.
to go viral.
I commented on everyone's comment the first video because I just wanted to boost the algorithm. I knew what I was doing. I was just like, oh yeah, let's see how many we can get on this. And then I think it was like reposting again. So I reposted it for the end of the year and I think it got almost another 1 million views. People they're like, oh, you're poor, you're cheap, you're this, you're that. And it's like, why? It made me realize that we still live in a society where a lot of people are judgmental. And I think
wedding specifically is an indication of wealth and not any other metric, apparently.
Yeah, it was very interesting. And it's like, well, not everybody wants to spend $100,000, or if you want to spend $100,000, that's totally okay. Like everyone, it's no one's business, your finances, except you and your accountant. And I think like people just need to not be so judgmental with other people's weddings. Like that's something I always tell people. It's like, you don't understand, like, it doesn't matter what person XYZ does. Just do what you do. Be happy with what you're doing. Don't compare yourself. Don't even compare yourself to your sister, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, any of them. Do what you want for you. It doesn't spend what you're comfortable spending. Nobody needs to know that. Nobody needs to judge you for that. Like, it's okay to spend money on stuff. It's okay not to spend money on stuff. Like, I feel like the narrative, I like look at a lot of marketing and it's always about like spend. And it's like, only spend if that's what you want to spend. And that's the message I really want to spend. I know we're not the cheapest photographers. I know we're not the most expensive photographers, but I feel like we're priced for the type of clients we want to attract. And they value and respect us and our expertise. And yeah, you do get what you pay for. But if you don't value something, don't spend money on it. But if you value something, spend money on it.
Absolutely. Any other wedding stuff we want to talk about before we let you guys go? Any other things you want us to know about, style, working with you, process, anything like that?
I can't really think of anything.
I guess our style is like more. I'm just taking over now.
Okay.
I'm trying to let him talk. I'm so bad at it. I'm a rambler. So I'm like trying really hard at this interview to like share the spotlight. So basically our style is like more true to life. We put a little pop in it, some candids, a little pose, a little fun, a little seriousness, maybe some romance if that's what you're into. Basically, we just want to capture the day as it was, and you can look back, share it with your family and friends, and remember the day just through photos, because we don't do video. I leave that to the video experts because that is a whole other thing, and I That is a talent. And I always tell people, I'm like, that I'm always like, you want like good, the footage, like prepare to invest money in video. Video is awesome if that's what your heart is in. Spend it. I'm like, now I'm trying to sell videographers. Like, sponsor me, videographers. I'll talk about how awesome you are. But yeah, just at the end of the day, like, follow your heart. Yeah, society puts a lot of pressure on you. But be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, you only answer to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And we really try and like tailor to just be kind of a neutral party with what our clients want, like just asking them questions, trying to flesh out what they are actually looking for. Yeah, there'll be times we'll tell them like, no, like that seems like a good idea, but it's really not, or like, or offering an alternative as much as possible. But yeah, we get a wide spectrum of weddings because it's just, what do you want? I'm not going to tell you like what formula you should follow. Like, yeah, just literally whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we do weddings. Like, I love I love elopements. I love micro weddings. We do shoot bigger weddings too. We shoot Catholic weddings. I've shot Wicca weddings. We shot a wedding at a concert during a live music show. I mean, we've so many different things. We just attract the people who are ready for an adventure, I guess.
I like that. If people wanted to check out your website and your work, where would you have them go?
Sightglassphoto.com.
And on
I
all the
almost
socials?
did the www.http. No. So yeah, our website. We're on Instagram at Sightglass Yeah, you can watch our horrible TikToks at I think I keep changing the name. I think it's just the Panders right now. I'm like debating if it's like a business, more personal. Like, I just post random stuff of us and our dog, like, and some wedding tips, some weirdness.
And then that's just like also trying to just kind of figure out TikTok. Like TikTok very much like pigeonholes you after a while. And you really can't like get out of it, particularly like after you're in there. And so just kind of still kind of like discover that and what we actually want to the social media brand to be. Basically.
Yeah. I only got on TikTok because I was bored. And then I heard you can monetize it. And then I did monetize it. And then I was bored again. They pay you like 2 cents per 1,000 clicks. And I was like, yeah, these $9 checks are on. And then I was like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
Well, Amber and Eric, this has been fun. I'm glad that we get to get some new voices on here, get to meet some new people. If you are like Eric and Amber and you want to be a guest on the podcast, you can go to bestmadevideos.com/podcast guest. I'm glad that we have a new Get to Know Your Wedding Pro here moving into 2022. And thank you guys for your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.